Okay, welcome to all the occupiers of White City Place, those of you that are watching online. Thanks for being here. Please know that you can come down if you're in the office at this time on Mondays and join in the meditation in person if you like in the hub. And also the same on Wednesdays with the yoga. That's all happening live now in person, so please feel free to come down. It's all spaced out and all COVID friendly, so good. All right. So yeah, I'm going to turn this way because we've got people in here and keeping it as a live session. So today we're going to talk about a little bit about compassionate meditation. And just close your eyes while I'm talking. It's a really nice way to just settle into the space. And just notice how you are, how you're feeling in your body physically. You know, if you've just rushed to get here or to your mat or wherever you are at home, then you can just notice how your breath is. It'll change as the practice goes on. So it's quite nice to notice how it is at the beginning. And then you can compare it at the end. And all this is doing is building awareness around how you are, how you operate, how you breathe, and how you notice. So getting into that practice of noticing without judging. So sometimes we might feel irritated when we close our eyes, and then we get annoyed that we're feeling irritated. You know, we kind of become our worst enemy. So try to be aware without judging how you are. And also just using this time to get comfortable in your seat, because, you know, you're here for a wee while and you want to make sure that you're not distracted by your physical body. You've got enough work trying to not get too distracted by thoughts and sounds. So just make sure you're nice and comfortable. And with meditation, you can sit in a chair. We're on beanbags down here in the hub. That feels nice. Just something that might support your back, unless you're a very practiced yogi and you're happy sitting cross-legged and sitting up for a while. Just be aware that if you lie down, there's a fine line between meditating and falling asleep. So it's always better to sit up if you can. But that can be nice and relaxed as well. Yeah, so just noticing how you're breathing. Yeah, I'll just mention gently that we're with this compassionate meditation that we're going to do. The reason I want to do it today is it's a good one for something that you can practice every day, actually. And the more we practice it, the deeper the effects on our body. But it's one of those meditations that actually has a really good response rate. So when we study the effects of meditation, we often look at the brain. There's been lots of studies on the brain and what happens in there. And with compassionate meditation, we've seen a lot of lessened activity in the amygdala, and that's your emotional response center. It calms down, and also it builds on your empathy connections in your brain. So it's a really nice one to practice. And these benefits can come just after 30 hours. So if you're able to do 30 minutes a day, it wouldn't be that long until you started really reaping those benefits. And so a good practice every day is really good to harness those benefits. So again, just tuning in on your breath. So notice how you're breathing naturally right now. And even that is a bit of a challenge, because the minute we start thinking about the breath, we start trying to control it. So see if you can just notice it as it was before you thought about it. See if you can relax the control. Just become an observer. And notice how the rest of your body responds. So if you're breathing naturally, your belly doesn't want to feel tight. You just want to be able to feel that kind of Buddha belly, just letting it go, letting it relax. And you might notice some movement in the belly as you breathe in. You might feel it expand. And as you breathe out, you might feel it deflate a little bit. Are your shoulders relaxed? Is there anywhere else in your body that you're tensing? Sometimes it's awkward to know where to put your hands. I often like to have them on my lap, but if you have them on your lap, then just turn them up so that the palms are facing the ceiling. And then you can really relax the back of the wrists, but also it'll keep your shoulders open, which means that extends the space for your chest, so you can take in more oxygen. Also with your palms facing the ceiling, it's an invitation to receive rather than turning the hands the other way, which can be seen as a kind of closing down, but that's up to you, how it feels best, most comfortable. So before we take any conscious breath, i.e. controlled breathing, just see the way that you're breathing now, just see if you can notice 10 of your breaths in a row. Don't try and change your breath, just breathe as you are now. Just see if you can stay with the breath for 10 breaths. No rush to finish. If you're still counting, then take your time. If you've already done 10, just see if you can keep going. I'm just giving time for anyone that might be breathing really slowly to catch up. Okay, so the likelihood is that you would have done about 10 now. So you might have found that was a little bit distracting. You might find that it was tricky. You might have stayed with a couple of breaths and then realized you went off-piste and then came back. And that's because it's early on in the session. So the control breath exercise that we're going to do really helps to slow down the mind. So we'll do a few of those and then we'll come back to this 10 breath and see if you can find a difference there. All right, so for the conscious breath, we're going to do something that I begin with every session. We're going to breathe in for 6. I'll count you so that you can stay with a second count. So breathing in for 6, and then you're going to hold the breath for a count of 2, and then breathe out for 7 or 8 seconds. Then we'll take a normal breath in, normal breath out, and then we'll do the 6, 2, 7, 8 again, and we'll do that cycle 5 times. So by the time I count to 3, let go of all of your breath. So breathing in, 2, 3, let go of all of your breath. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and hold it, 2, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Normal breath in and out. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and hold it, 2, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Normal breath in and out. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and hold it, 2, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Normal breath in and out. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and hold it, 2, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Normal breath in and out. Last one. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and hold it, 2, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Normal breath in and normal breath out. And just notice now your breath. Don't need to count anything. Just feel that nice release of not having to count, not having to do anything in particular. Just this little kind of resting spot. Notice how the body feels when you let go. Just a couple more breaths here, just normal breathing. And then I'm going to take the square breathing. So the idea here is that in your mind's eye, you can draw a square, and each square is going to be 4 seconds long. So if you were to travel up the left-hand side of the square from the bottom, that would be 4 seconds of breathing in. When you get to the top of the square, you're holding the breath for 4, but you're traveling along the top of the breath as you're holding it. And then you breathe out for 4 seconds down the right-hand side of the square. And then holding the breath at the bottom, having let the breath go, for 4 seconds along the bottom of the square. Now that can get quite tiring. If you can't make 4 seconds on the out breath hold, then start your new square a little bit earlier, maybe after 3 seconds. But try and do the first 2 squares that we do together with a 4-second breath all around. All right, so just letting go of all of your breath now. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 2, 3, 4. And out, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 2, 3, 4. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 2, 3, 4. And out, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 2, 3, 4. Breathing in. Keep going in your own count. Remember, if it gets too much, either take a break or make the square smaller. It's up to you. But just keeping the breath with that visual square. Notice how your body is when you hold the breath at the top of the square. Notice if your shoulders are tensing or if you can just do it very softly. Notice if with every out breath you can soften the body more. Just taking 2 more squares in your own time. No rush. When you're finished, again, just noticing how the body and the breath recovers from not having to count or do anything. Just feeling this space of nothing, this empty interval when nothing happens except awareness. Just while you're recovering here, I'll just explain the next conscious breath exercise. And what it will be, and don't worry, I'll count you in when we do it, but what it will be is breathing in for up to 5, but not holding the breath. You're just going to be breathing out for 5 again. But what I want you to try and do is to imagine that this is going to be a circle. So your in-breath will start at the bottom of the circle and create a semicircle until it gets to the top, the moon shape, if you like, a new moon. And then on the out breath, it'll go down the other side of the circle. And as it's even-sided with the breath, it'll make a complete circle. So the end of the out breath will come right back down to the bottom again. And the idea with this exercise is that you're trying to soften the edges. So often when we breathe in, it can be quite a kind of jagged, abrupt stop, and then we breathe out. We're trying to soften that little, if you like to think about your in-breath as reaching a mountain peak, rather than it being a jagged peak, it's a nice, soft, rolling hill as you breathe back out. And then the same at the bottom, it's a nice, low, slung valley, rather than an acute point at the bottom. So you're trying to soften the edges, and we can do that with this circle. We're going to breathing and being visual about it. Trying to soften when you get to the top of the breath, and then gently start to breathe in at the bottom of the breath. So it's all very kind of soft and rounded. So just drawing the circle in your mind's eye will help with that idea, hopefully. So I'll count the 5 in and out for the first 2 circles, just to get you into the count timing. And then I'll leave you to do it on your own for a few as well. It's the same thing as usual. When I get to 3, just let go of all of your breath. And we're going to start at the bottom of the circle. So breathing in first, 2, 3. Now let all of that go. Bottom of the circle. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the top and out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the top and out. 2, 3, 4, 5 at the bottom. Breathing in, 2. Keep going in your own time. You might notice that the more subtle your breath is, the easier it is to be softer, so that you can make those nice round edges. So you don't have to breathe, too much oxygen in. You can just stay nice and relaxed with a subtle breath and do this. If you run out of breath, of course, take more oxygen in, but just noticing that, being aware of when and if you have to do that without any judgment. It's very normal. Just taking one more. If you're halfway through a circle, just finishing that one. If you're at the bottom of the last one, just taking one more and just resting in that nice, subtle, soft awareness when you finish. No rush, just always honor your own breath, your own timing. Just resting in that nice, soft awareness again. Before we do the 10 breath count, we're just going to do one more, not a conscious breath exercise, but we're going to focus on the body for a little bit, and then we'll come back. So as you're sitting, just take your attention into your knees, both knees at the same time. Just noticing how they are, if they feel soft, or if even just by taking your awareness there, you can feel a little bit of softening, a little bit of letting go. Maybe, maybe not. It might even feel a bit numb if you haven't moved them for a while. Just sort of sensing them from the inside, where they are on your body. And then going to your ankle joints. It's the same idea. It's that idea of just letting go of all the tiny ligaments, tendons, weeny muscles that are there, that always support you, and just letting them soften here. And then your hip joints. So it's quite easy to be aware of them because you're sitting right there. So noticing how they are as you sit. If they feel nice and relaxed and not holding you too hard, you're just allowing gravity to allow your seat. Taking your awareness inside those hip joints where they meet the pelvis. And then hopping to the knees again. When I say hopping, I just mean with your mind's eye, of course. Just checking in on those again. And then the ankles again. So you're spotlighting of your body. And then both of your big toes. Just seeing if you can feel them in isolation to the rest of your body. The rest of the toes. And then jumping back up to your shoulder blades. They feel relaxed, the back of your body, the shoulders themselves, heavy, away from the ears, and your elbows, your wrists, the base of both of your thumbs. The skin in the palm of your hands. Both of your index fingers without moving them. The middle fingers. The fourth fingers. And the little fingers. You might have felt awareness or tingling maybe in each of the fingers as we mentioned them, or it might just be a numbness. Taking awareness to the fingertips and all the fingers, just all at the same time, just feeling that place, a sensitive part. And then your calf muscles on both of your legs, heavy muscles, if they feel soft and relaxed. Traveling up to your jawline. It's one place that we tend to hold tension all the time, subconsciously. So even as you are bouncing around the body, you may well have had your jaw a little bit tight. So just again, taking awareness there and allowing it to relax. Let your bottom jaw just fall a little bit so the tongue just sits on that lower palate. Your eyes are soft. Space between your eyebrows is soft. Ears. The whole body. Seeing if you can sense all of those parts together just as one unit, softening here. And as you do that, in this nice relaxed state, see now if you can count your 10 breaths, your natural way of breathing. Just see if you can keep your focus with the breath this time. Just see if you can see any difference. Staying with the breath for 10 breaths, this nice relaxed body. Again, no rush. And if you've already done 10, just keep going with it. Just giving more time for anyone that might breathe a little bit slower. Okay, so probably by now you would have done 10. And hopefully it felt a little bit different to the first lot, a little bit calmer, a bit less distracted. So now I'm going to bring in the compassion part. So I want you to think about somebody that's close to you, or it could even be someone that you have conflict with. I just want you to imagine this person sitting in front of you. So you're facing each other. But before you start, imagine that somebody that really loves you, so it can be a parental figure, a partner, or your child, or a really good friend, somebody that really, really supports you in everything that you do, loves you unconditionally. Imagine them with their hands on your shoulders, sending you their love, their compassion, their care. Just allowing that feeling to come into your body. Just feeling that support. Feeling loved. Just allow every in-breath to let that feeling expand. Getting a good sense of what that feels like. Now getting a clearer picture of the person in front of you. So whether it's somebody who needs some love, or like I said earlier, someone you have conflict with, sometimes it's more difficult to send that love to somebody that you're having an argument with or don't agree with. So that's a stronger challenge. So you might prefer to do someone that you just want to send love to. It doesn't matter what it is or who it is. Just imagine that they are sitting right opposite you and you're sending that same feeling of love and compassion, kindness to them. So if you like, you can imagine your heart space mirroring their heart space, and you can visualize the energy going between you to them, as if you're just sending them this love. They can also have their eyes closed opposite you if that helps. If it gets tricky, if there's someone in conflict that you're sending this love to, just bring that supportive person again back behind you with their hands on your shoulders, just to remind yourself that you are loved. Now I want you to imagine that you're swapping places with the person in front of you. So you're looking back at yourself from their point of view, and now sending yourself some love. So just visualize yourself as you're sitting right now. It can be a little bit strange at first if you've never done this, but just getting an idea of what it looks like, how you look right now. And just like that supportive figure behind you with the hands on your shoulders, same idea. You're sending that love to you right now, just switching it about. So noticing yourself receiving that compassion. And then when you've done that, just coming back into your own space. You can let go of the person in front of you. Just coming back to behind your eyelids. And just bathing in that nice emotion in your body. Just feeling that sense of unconditional love. Being kind to yourself. And at this point, it might help to put a little I am in front of it. So you could be saying to yourself, I am loved. Noticing how the rest of your body responds, staying soft, spacious, accepting, then knowing that you can take this feeling, this sense with you as you go about your day. Of course, it will dilute a little bit as you get into real life. But just slowly coming out of this so that you can start to move your fingers, maybe your toes, maybe your neck a little bit. And lastly, your eyes, just very gently letting the light come back in. And just moving nice and easily before you get back into your day. So not kind of moving too suddenly, just kind of coming out of this state very nice and slowly. And if you're online, thank you for being here. I'm going to end the session now.